taking my call. I spent some time in an Ontario women's jail. Could share a lot about how the justice system isn't working for women, but I'd like to speak about one particular policy, and that's the policy that currently allows males to self-declare a gender identity and be placed in women's jails. Sorry, you have a question?
Yeah, what was your experience with that?
Sorry, my voice will shake, but I will keep going. Firstly, like many women in custody, I've experienced a lot of trauma, both in childhood and as an adult, at the hands of men. During my time inside, there were 2 male inmates housed in the range with me. One was a gay man with long black hair who recently had started taking estrogen. He was very open about his penis, liking to have sex with men, and that he was going to keep his penis. The other was a straight man with short hair, stubble, and no medical interventions to feminize his appearance. I was quite alarmed and angry when the second man joined our range. My fear and anger turned out to be justified when he cornered one of the youngest women in her cell and tried to sexually assault her. He was removed after that incident, but what in the world made it make sense to put him in there with us? The current policies are based on self-declared gender identity, and are said to be done on a case-by-case basis, where they consider if the risk of jailing a specific male man with women can be managed. It's not appropriate to house any men in women's jails, but even so, it's clear the case-by-case system isn't working as intended. I know this wasn't an isolated incident. There was a recently publicized case of a man called Charles Gleason, who was put in Vanier Center for Women. His most recent crime was a violent sexual assault on a woman at Ryerson University. He also had previous convictions for violent offenses against women. His sentencing judge commented on the inappropriateness of him being transferred to a women's prison while awaiting his sentencing.
Yeah.
He was designated a dangerous offender. Can I just finish the sentence?
Sure.
And was given an indeterminate sentence, and for now will serve in a men's jail. The judge noted that he was vague and contemplative about his desire to transition, and yet that was sufficient for Ontario Corrections to think he was an acceptable candidate to be put in the women's jail.
She sounded like this was a very hard call for her to make. Can you tell us about your knowledge around these issues and navigating these issues?
And to address her concerns about trans folks being incarcerated with them, I think that really speaks to non-inclusion of trans women in our systems, and that's where I'm going to leave that.
Should trans women and non-binary people who have male, a male physique be included in custody with women? Absolutely.
And the reason I believe that is because, there are a lot of things that go on behind prison walls, and I think targeting and focusing on trans women in custody is not a conversation that should be focused on. There's definitely concerns about male guards in prison. When we're talking about sexual assaults, there's a recent one that just occurred at Southwest Detention Center. There's alleged sexual assault against female inmates and the women there. And I think that those conversations need to be had, and I think they're focusing too much on.
Okay, Lindsay, I hear you. We're going to be right back for more of your calls in 90 seconds.